Welcome to the 1 to 2 month hair unit video. Here's my client before we begin. This hair unit is designed for those who wear their hair in like a curly or a sponge or mini afro type of look. So we getting right into it. You just want to cut the hair as normal. I'm doing a drop fade on this individual. I skipped over the other process of cutting because you guys already know how to cut hair. We're here to learn how to do hair units, and that's strictly what we're going to do. I'm going to help you to learn how to install these the correct, easy way. Alright, so you want to begin to shave the top of their head with the clippers only. I use my edgers, so use your edgers and go according to their pattern of hair loss. Take your time. It's pretty simple. You can pretty much just see the pattern of his hair loss and how I'm just balding it out. But definitely want to use your edges only. You do not want to risk anybody getting any bumps or irritation underneath the hair unit. That would not be a good look. That is something I don't personally recommend. It's up to you if you want to try to use edgers, not edgers, but if you want to try to use a razor or an electric shaver, it's up to you to decide. But for me, I don't use them at all. And yes, you want to make the line blunt, so you do not have to fade the transition area. You want to keep it dark where it is. For this unit particularly, how we're doing. Essentially, we're creating a toupee for this unit. This is something that a lot of people don't know how to do. This is exclusive. You guys are getting exclusive information with this unit. Nobody has taught this hair unit. I've been to over 5 classes and nobody has ever taught this hair unit. All right. So you guys are definitely getting some exclusive information right now. Some exclusive information indeed. I want you guys to take advantage of it because you're pretty much making a toupee essentially for this particular unit. And there's other ways to do it, and I do know how to do those ways, but I'm just showing you this way because I feel like it's definitely more effective. I feel like somebody who has a lower hair type, they can have even maybe a 1.5 on the sides and you can still do this application with. All right, so just take your time. You want to make sure that you got a nice little pattern for yourself. As you can see, has a really nice pattern going to get the process started. Now what you want to do first is actually shampoo their hair. You just want to clean their scalp really good and prep it. You can do that from the seat as well and do an express cleanse, but I always do that before I apply my alcohol. All right, but you definitely want to apply your alcohol and disinfect the head, disinfect that scalp. Now we want to draw the hairline on with our eyeliner pencil. You want to consult with them. Ask them where they would like their hairline to be. Now, I've shown you the 4 fingers from the eyebrows just to let you know that that is the rule of thumb. But the rule of thumb is to use their 4 fingers, not yours. But I do have about average size hands, and so it typically works for me most of the time. But you always want to consult with your client and ask them. But you will have a lot of people that will tell you, well, just put my hairline where you think it should be. So in that case, kind of use that method. If you have big hands, try 3 fingers. But just keep in mind, you do not want the hairline to be too close to the eyebrows. You don't want it too small. It will look really fake then. So kind of keep that 4-finger method from the top of the eyebrows to the top of the 4th finger, and kind of use that as a gauge in case people want you to but in case people want you to decide where to put their hairline, because you will get that a lot of times. So go ahead and keep that in mind. but always show them where their hairline is going to be before you begin. Make sure they're pleased with it, and then you're good to go. Now, this no sweat is optional. I use that because it helps retain that sweat, but you do not have to use this for a hair unit. But I like it because I use it to make the hairline faint. You do not want that hairline that you drew on to be dark. You want it to be faint like a shadow, only pretty much to where you can see it. That hairline guide is very important. And then you apply the first layer of adhesive. The adhesive I'm using is Ghost Bond. There's also another good adhesive called Chick Bond. So in my opinion, those are the best two on the market. But play with either one, see which one you like. But when you apply it, always brush away, as you see me doing, from the hairline guide that you drew on. You want to try your best not to overlap that if all possible. And yes, you're going to do a total of 2 layers of adhesive. Alright, 2 layers of adhesive on the scalp. And I always start with my hairline because that's the part that you really have to take your time on the most. You have to be real careful, so I always apply to the hairline and now the rest of the head. As you can see me doing, struggling to get some of that adhesive off, some of that adhesive out, I mean. But you do not want to put too much on the scalp. You just trying to get a nice even spread all the way around if all possible. But don't put too much. Just try to have a nice even coat if all possible. Now I will say this, Ghost Bond is more like a Elmer's glue texture, whereas Chick Bond is more of a runny texture. You got to be a little more careful with that. If you put the same amount that you put on Ghost Bond, it will run. So you got to be careful when using that other adhesive. But this is Ghost Bond, and you can pretty much compare it to like an Elmer's glue type texture. Alright, so try to spread that as evenly as possible. Now we begin to let it dry, okay? You can let it air dry if you want to for a few minutes, but I prefer to speed things up and use the blow dry. I put it on a cool setting, and pretty much all you have to do is just wait until the adhesive dries clear. Once it dries clear, you're pretty much good to put your next coat on, alright? Put your next layer of adhesive on as it dries clear. And as you see, it's drying clear. This speeds up the process. In my opinion, the adhesive works better when you use the blow dryer. And it's just a win-win overall for you because you get to complete your work quicker. But as you can see, the adhesive is drying clear. I just have some extra areas around that transition line that I've applied some extra adhesive, excuse me, that I didn't want. But I'm gonna show you how to get rid of it, alright? Now this is how you remove that excess adhesive that's applied around the transition area. You use some C22, spray it on a towel, and then you proceed to wipe. But you can also spray the C22 directly to the area and then proceed to wipe. And you can use your comb, gently use your comb and try to remove some of that adhesive, try to comb some of it out. But it's always good and handy just to keep some C22 around. Just keep some around just in case you make a mistake. Mistakes do happen with these hair units. You may apply too much adhesive somewhere, so just keep some C22 on you at all times if possible. And that's the tacky test that we want to do. We want to do the tacky test to make sure that the adhesive has dried correctly. And when it's tacky, it's really good to go. All right. So you're going to do that 2 times. Remember, you're going to apply the adhesive 2 times on the scalp. Now we're using the lace net. And I cut it into a square because it comes in kind of like a long square shape. But you just cut it into a square, or you can just, put it on their head and cut it according to how their balding pattern is that you drew, if you want to. But for me, I have an eye for it, so I just kind of measure it with my eye, and then I go from there. I always try to use a little more than I need, just in case. You can always cut off, remember that. But always apply behind the hairline guide, about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. Do not apply directly on the hairline. I do not recommend that at all, okay? Just put it just slightly behind the hairline. And you will get some air bubbles, don't worry, but you want to remove those air bubbles. So you pull the lace, maneuver the lace net to make sure that all the air bubbles are gone. You can definitely maneuver the lace while you have with the adhesive on the scalp. That's going to be no problem at all right? You're just getting started. Like I said, we're pretty much creating a toupee. See how I'm pulling to get those air bubbles out? That's how you want to do it. Just like you see me doing. This guy wore this hair unit for 2 months, all right? So keep this in mind also. I mean, this is a hair unit you can definitely get 1 or 2 months out of. 1 month minimum, easy. But now you're pretty much just cutting the transition. Where the transition area is that you originally did on the scalp, that's where you're cutting to. This lace net is essentially an extension of their head. Pretty much. It's going to look just like their scalp. If you look from a distance, or maybe even squint your eyes, you're going to be like, oh man, it looks just like his scalp. So keep that in mind. That's what you want. That's what you're going for. You don't want the lace net to overlap that guide that you drew on. Or not that you drew on, but the guide that you did with your edgers, where their areas of recession were. Alright, so just follow the pattern and just cut. That's simple. That's simple, guys. We're creating a toupee. Alright, so you want to just continue to follow the pattern and cut. It's that easy. It's that easy. Just follow the pattern and cut. This is hair units on a whole nother level, guys. On a whole nother level. This is hair art. So continue to cut it accordingly, and you can still make adjustments when needed with this. That's the beauty of it. The beauty of the lace. You can continue to make adjustments because as I cut it, you'll see that the hairline is still overlapping. But guess what I do? I'm about to cut that because I do not want the lace touching that hairline guide that I drew. Remember, you always want it slightly behind. But as you can see, the lace is like an extension of his scalp now. The lace now is essentially his scalp. That's what we're working with. This is the look you're going for. Stay tuned. We got more to come in the next video.